When you feel stuck in life, as though the river of your energy no longer flows, but pools into stillness, Zen invites you not to struggle against it, but to look gently within. For often stagnation is not failure, but a sign that the inner self is calling for attention, for understanding, for presence. The first subtle sign that you are stuck is a quiet restlessness that doesn't scream but hums, a sense that something is missing, though you may not be able to name it, a constant reaching without ever arriving, a longing that never quite finds what it longs for. This restlessness can look like endless distraction, overworking, overthinking, or scrolling through the moments of your life without really touching them. Zen does not tell you to fix this feeling, but to sit with it, to be with it, to listen to it without fear or judgment. When the mind runs like a frightened animal, Zen says, sit still. When you feel behind, Zen says, there is nowhere to go. Your breath is already enough. And so, to meet this first sign, you return, not to a goal, but to your breath, to your body, to the weight of your presence right now. Ask, what is this discomfort trying to teach me? What would happen if I stopped trying to escape it? The second sign is resistance. Resistance to what is, to change, to feeling, to truth. It's the tension in your shoulders, the avoidance in your heart, the invisible wall between you and your own experience. Resistance often hides behind stories. I'm not ready. I can't. This shouldn't be happening. But Zen points out that these stories are just clouds passing across the open sky of awareness. You are not your resistance. You are the space that sees it. And in that space, there is freedom. When you notice yourself stuck, ask, what am I resisting? And what would happen if I let go? Not in resignation, but in surrender, the kind that opens, that softens, that trusts. Being stuck is not a problem. It is a doorway. It is your life asking you to wake up. Zen does not promise a way out, but a way in, a way into presence, into simplicity, into now. You don't need to wait to feel clear or confident before you take a step. You only need to take it mindfully. Zen teaches that the way forward is found, not by pushing, but by allowing. The stream does not force its way down the mountain. It finds the path by yielding. So too must you learn to yield, to release the grip of needing to know, to achieve, to prove. Let yourself be exactly where you are. Listen deeply. The path is already beneath your feet. You are not broken. You are unfolding. Each breath is a chance to begin again. Each moment of stillness is not wasted but sacred. In stillness, the mud settles. In stillness, the water clears. And once you see clearly, you realize you were never truly stuck. Just paused, just waiting to remember that being is enough. You are not alone in this. All beings lose their way, and all beings find it again. So breathe, soften, let go of the noise, and come home to the silence that has always held you. That is Zen. That is freedom. And so as the breath continues, flowing in and out, like the tides of your own inner sea, begin to notice not just the heaviness of being stuck, but the subtle texture of it, the way it settles behind the eyes, weighs on the chest, and dulls the vibrant color of experience. In Zen, the state of being stuck is not a flaw, but a bell ringing for attention, a call to wakefulness. It is not a punishment, it is a pointer, and if you look closely, gently, and with compassion, you may find the first sign, resistance to what is. This resistance may appear as an aversion to change, a clinging to plans, or a quiet war with reality itself. You might hear it in your language, the shoulds, the what-ifs, the silent bargainings with time and circumstance. It manifests in a refusal to allow the present moment to simply be what it is. When you resist life as it unfolds, you stiffen inside, and in that stiffness, flow stops. But life is not meant to be stiff. It is like water, meant to move, to shift, to seep into cracks and adapt to the shape of each moment. To be stuck is to deny this water nature of being. Zen invites us to release this resistance, to meet each unfolding moment, not with judgment or strategy, but with openness. The second sign is disconnection from the present, a drifting away from the now into the haze of mental chatter, where regrets of the past and fears of the future blur the clarity of this breath, this sound, this heartbeat. When you are stuck, the mind often becomes a runaway train, racing to fixes, to control, to understand, while the body waits quietly in the present, like a tree untouched by the wind of thought. The practice is to return, over and over again, to return, to drink tea and taste only tea, to walk and feel only walking, to breathe and know you are breathing. In this practice of returning, you become unstuck not by force, but by noticing. Awareness is the solvent that dissolves the stuck places, noticing how the mind grasps and how the heart closes, noticing without judgment. For even in the noticing, there is healing. Even in the willingness to look, there is movement. Stuckness, then, is not a wall, but a mirror. It shows you where your attention lives, where your energy clings, where your life resists its own unfolding. And from this mirror, you begin to soften. You begin to step back into the river of now. You stop asking where you should be, and instead ask, can I be here? Zen doesn't offer elaborate solutions or dramatic changes. It offers this: a breath, a pause, a question. And in this sacred simplicity, you find the gate out of the stuckness you once feared would last forever. You find that peace is not beyond the next achievement, nor is clarity beyond the next answer. They are here, in the stillness that arises when you let go of fixing, let go of pushing, and simply allow yourself to be. You were never behind. You were never lost. You were simply paused, waiting to remember that movement begins again, not with striving, but with presence. Let the breath continue. Let it be your guide home. Let the breath be an anchor, not something to control, but something to trust. Feel the gentle rhythm that has carried you through every moment, even the ones you thought you wouldn't survive. There is no need to force your way forward. In the Zen path, forward is found through stillness, not speed. You may believe that being stuck means something is broken in you. But what if it simply means something important is trying to emerge, and it needs your stillness to be heard? What if the ache of stuckness is the soul's whisper, asking you to listen more deeply to your needs, your truth, your longing? Soften now into this possibility. Consider how nature never rushes, and yet everything is accomplished. A tree does not grieve its lack of movement in winter. It trusts the stillness as part of its becoming. In this same way, your being stuck may be a sacred pause, a time when the spirit gathers its strength beneath the surface. The Zen masters teach us that non-doing is not laziness, it is a fertile silence. In the quiet, the heart reorients. In the space between one breath and the next, a doorway opens. Can you wait with that kind of patience? Can you allow life to rearrange itself around your awareness instead of your urgency? This is where you begin to cultivate a new kind of strength. The strength that comes not from effort, but from presence. When you stop running, the wisdom that has been chasing you can finally catch up. When you stop resisting the moment reveals its teaching. You see, there are always two choices: to tighten or to soften, to control or to allow, to run or to stay. Zen is the art of staying. It is the practice of resting in discomfort long enough to let it transform. So when you feel stuck, do not flee, do not panic, do not judge. Instead, sit quietly and look with the eyes of a curious child. Ask, what is this moment asking of me? Sometimes it will ask you to act, but more often, it will ask you to listen, to notice the tension in your shoulders, the clenching in your jaw, the stories spinning in your mind, to breathe into them, to love them without needing them to go away. That is true freedom. That is how you become unstuck, not by becoming something different, but by returning to the truth of who you already are. Spacious, whole, awake. This too is the path. This too is practice. Let your mind become a clear mirror, reflecting each moment without distortion. When you stop forcing, you begin to see. The feeling of being stuck is often a momentary illusion created by the mind's insistence on knowing what comes next. It's a feeling of being trapped in time, caught in an endless loop of what should be, instead of embracing what is. Zen teaches us that the present moment is the only true moment, and the idea that you are stuck is merely a construct built by expectations. In reality, nothing in nature is ever stuck. The rivers move, the clouds drift, the seasons change without effort. They may not appear to be in motion all the time, but they are. And so are you. Even when it seems like you are standing still, there is movement within you, your cells, your thoughts, your breath. They are always in flux. The very concept of stuck is based on the illusion of permanence. When you feel stuck, pause and notice. What is it that you are clinging to? What rigid belief or expectation has made you feel like you are trapped in one place? Acknowledge that clinging, for it is only through releasing that you will begin to see the path forward. Zen wisdom teaches us that clinging is the root of suffering, and the path to freedom is in letting go of the attachment to outcomes, to control, and to certainty. It's about learning to live with uncertainty, embracing the discomfort of not knowing what comes next, and finding peace in that space. Because when you allow yourself to rest in uncertainty, you open yourself to the possibility that what's waiting for you is something far greater than anything you could have planned. The act of being stuck is in itself a deep lesson if you're willing to let it be. The stuckness is not something to be fixed. It is an invitation to slow down and pay attention to the present moment in a way you haven't been able to before. This stillness is where clarity arises. When we stop running from discomfort, we find that the very thing we've been avoiding, the emotions, the fears, the thoughts, are not so powerful after all. In fact, they are like clouds in the sky, impermanent, transient, and ultimately powerless. They pass by when you stop attaching to them, when you stop believing they are who you are, and when you learn to let go of your attachment to these fleeting thoughts and emotions, you begin to notice the profound stillness that lies beneath. This is the place where you remember your true nature. The stuckness is only a momentary stop on the journey. It is not the destination. The destination is freedom. The destination is presence. The destination is peace. And it's not something you have to reach. It's already here, in the now, in the quiet space of acceptance. Can you, in this moment, let go of the idea of being stuck and simply breathe? Can you trust that the very act of being here, of being fully present, is enough? Can you allow yourself to release the need for answers, for solutions, for certainty, and simply be? That is the invitation of Zen. To stop searching, to stop running, to stop clinging, and to be fully alive in the present moment, just as it is. As you practice this, you may begin to notice that the stuckness starts to lose its grip on you. It no longer has the same power over your life because you no longer identify with it. It is no longer a reflection of who you are. It is simply a part of the ebb and flow of life. And when you stop resisting, the river of life flows more freely. When you let go of the need to control the current, you move with it effortlessly. This is the paradox of Zen. By letting go of the need to control or change, you experience transformation. When you stop fighting against the river, you are carried to the place you need to be. And sometimes, the place you need to be is right where you are, exactly as you are. Now take a moment to reflect. What is it that is calling you to change? Is it truly what you need? Or is it something your mind has fabricated? A story that you've created about how life should be? The Zen path encourages us to ask these questions and to sit with the answers without judgment. It invites us to sit in discomfort, knowing that this is part of the process. Nothing in life is static. Everything is in a constant state of becoming. The moment you embrace the idea that nothing is ever truly stuck, you begin to experience life as it is meant to be experienced, fluid, dynamic, and full of possibility. So, if you are feeling stuck right now, ask yourself, what can I learn from this moment? What is the invitation here? When you stop thinking of it as something wrong or broken, you begin to see it for what it truly is, a beautiful opportunity for growth. It is an invitation to slow down, to listen, to breathe, and to be fully present with whatever arises. And as you embrace this, you will find that the stuckness begins to dissolve. You will find that you are always moving, always growing, always evolving, even when you feel still. And that is the miracle of life. The movement is always there, even when you don't see it. It's within you. It's within everything. So be still, be present, and trust that the journey will unfold, not in the way you expect, but in the way it is meant to be. If this message brought you calm, this space is always here for you. Subscribe, return, and walk this quiet path with us, one breath at a time. Until next time, remember, just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past over and over again.